Already, my dude.
You're all ready, friend. Powerhouse versus 8K Gaming. Gonna be on border here. We're playing the bomb game mode because that's the only one you play in Rainbow Six of the Siege. This Powerhouse will have the first ban.
Are they gonna ban Buck? I will be irate.
Border. It's border.
Yeah, he's probably getting banned at some point.
Oh, that's just getting banned.
All right, well.
Your team coming out with the creative bans here.
That is something. Yeah.
I like it. Thatcher, a particularly very powerful operator, has EMPs that you can throw up against any wall, gets rid of all electronics, or disables them for the time being. Jackal going to get banned out as well. Buck is alive, everyone.
Buck is alive.
Jackal is dead. So there's
Crabs, Jackal is dead.
Jackal, a very particular, a weird operator to ban on border in particular. I mean, I know why people want him banned because obviously it makes coordination a lot easier for teams trying to clear roamers. But you know, there's obviously other operators you'd really want gone on border in particular because border is a very small map, very, very small. And yes, Jackal helps out a lot on the bigger maps, Bank, Villa, stuff like that you really don't want to deal with. And once again, Parker, we're going to launch Legion directly into the heart of the sun where he deserves to be along with.
When does Skyscraper join him?
Hopefully always, because I hate that map as well.
It's not good.
It's garbage. It's actual garbage. I'd sell my left arm in order to get rid of Skyscraper. I'm completely serious.
All right, everybody, this is the final game of the day. Feel free to spam your respective favorite player emotes in the chat. There are streamers on both sides of this equation, so feel free to do that. Seeing Lady Dragon Slayer's name like hurts my eyes because it's like I know what it means, but like my brain doesn't want to think that.
Shoutcasting last week when I would make a quick glance to the kill feed to make sure I was saying things properly, it threw me off so many times, my friend. So many.
God, I need a haircut, by the way.
You literally look like a troll.
That's not nice. Sam?
You're only nice to me very rarely. I have to get my shots in when I can.
I am going to buy you so much sushi.
I can't wait, dude. I actually owe you a sushi date.
Yeah, for reasons we never will ever talk about.
Dude, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Anywho, starting on defense. Starting on defense. All right, well, you're looking at an armory defense here, and you're going to put somebody inside of monitors. I'm going to be watching Maddie's impact on this team because, to the best of my knowledge, Powerhouse has only won 3 rounds over 2 games, if I remember correctly. So
I believe you're correct because they did not win very many last game.
Yeah, they have a ways to go, and I'm going to watch Maddie's impact on this team. I don't know if she's a permanent addition or not.
Coach Parker, I like it.
I'm not coaching this team. They have a coach. I'm struggling to remember who it is.
Did you just forget the coach of your own team? You heard it here first.
I don't keep up with the.
No, you got a lot on your plate right now. You have a lot on your plate with all things set aside. Oh, it's Crazy Man. Crazy Man is the coach.
Now I'm gonna do the shameless plug incoming for Rainbow Six Women's League. All subs, donations, and bits contribute directly to the prize pool. This is a crowd-funded league. If you like what you see and you believe that these ladies deserve accolades, praise, etc., you are capable of controlling. Exactly what the prize pool is. So all subs, donations, and bits go directly into the prize pool and be distributed to all the lovely ladies competing. We aren't by any means asking you to sub and donate. You don't need to if you don't have to. But if you were considering it or you were already going to do it, just know that that's where the money is going for the sake of full transparency. It goes back into the community. And Powerhouse's coach, by the way, is Crazy Man, and Boston is the analyst. So thank you very much. So Stokes, thinking I forget things.
Oh, quick shot here as Maddie's going to be the first one to falter off for Powerhouse. So not too impactful just yet, but she did deal a decent amount of damage. They've wasted plenty of time. Todd might be in treacherous waters here, though. She does rotate into 90. Full CCTV control now in the hands of the offense here for 8K. As Todd is still lying in wait to see if she could possibly get a rotation back in, but she is docked, so obviously those steps are going to be very, very loud when she does rotate back in. Looks like she wants to try and pose a threat through E-Box here, possibly. Doesn't seem like that just yet. No drones coming out, though. Todd is in a very dangerous position once again if she does indeed get drone, but we see absolutely no drone work from the offense. And this could spell disaster if Todd is able to work her way back into CCTV. We do still have Bandit offsite all the way over inside of offices. That's Lady Dragon, as well as 2 on site waiting for this plant to go down. And that's going to be the 2 preventions. We have Lysa as well as the Echo inside of sight, just waiting. That it's going to be in the hands of Monster Girl for this plant. She's on a soft wall as well, and that's going to be a perfectly placed Toxic Babe as Monster Girl finally finds some safe harbor to try and get this plant down. Half wall has already been taken over by Velociraptor, as the plant will be put down finally. Todd going to take quite a bit of damage as she does get tagged up, but it is indeed Doc. She could dock herself up at any time, but she's going to need a head to be able to do that, Parker, as Nini Ren finds the kill. Never to refrag, though, trying to bring this one back, but they already have a repel on Sandwich Window as well. Lady Dragon Slayer now coming through into box here as Never tags on. All of a sudden, this is getting closer and closer to doable, but as they do get pushed over the edge, one more to tack on, but no, she can't find the head. And 8K with the first round as Powerhaus can't find their 4th round of the entire league so far.
Trying to not be biased, but did it not look like Bandit got cheated?
Yeah, it absolutely did.
From our perspective,
that one got shot in the head.
It looked like that should have been a kill from the Bandit. Maybe that's my quick call. I'm trying to bias caster, but you know. Yeah. So really good execute from 8K. They read that there wasn't as much control as you needed over by the armory wall. You pushed in. You didn't have much of a pushback from Powerhaus at all. And because of this, what happens? Well, 8K ends up storming the round. And then they had excellent coverage. They were outside on the rappel. Yeah, the sledge was in kind of the sledge of the Thatcher, rather, was in kind of a strange position in no man's land. But at the end of the day, like, that's only one of the 3 remaining members that you have on attack. So for defense, I appreciated that they were looking at more of a monitor's hold, but you didn't stall enough time, and 8K read into what was being set up perfectly. I'm wondering if we're going to see anything different here. It looks like a very similar setup. The only difference is you subbed out the smoke for the mute. That's it. Or rather, that wasn't even a sledge or a Thatcher. I was wrong. I thought it was an L85. I think it was the Capitao.
It was the Capitao.
It was the Capitao.
I do believe. Either that or we're both wrong. We'll be wrong together, and that's perfectly fine, too. We're going to have the same rotates that made, though, by Powerhaus. They were pretty effective, but it just seemed like Todd was a little antsy to go in, Parker. If she would have capitalized earlier on that rotation, because they had no idea that she was there, definitely could have put that round into the favor of Powerhaus. But instead, we have the 1-0 up for 8K here, and a pretty easy execute, I would say, for them onto CCTV as well as the armory wall. Overall, this map, especially this site in particular, is completely controlled by that CCTV room over here behind Horseshoe, or as Parker likes to call it, monitors. You have to hold down this room, otherwise things get extremely dire, extremely fast. Yeah, I've called it Horseshoe for a very long time.
Sam, do we play the same game?
Yeah.
I've called it monitors, security, CCTV, now Horseshoe.
I just called it.
That is a whirlwind of a room. Is there a whirlwind of a room?
It's got 4 different calls at least.
Yeah. And right now it's the hill that Todd is going to die on. She's relying on Lissa to be able to break open some more of the wall, maybe give a crossfire potential here, as the mute is just snugly sitting inside of Fountain. You wouldn't know it with the destruction that you see in front of Lissa, whose name is Lysa, because I think that's the way that Ty mangles her name. But goodbye, Maddie Elizabeth. She tries to cross in front of the open door, gets gunned down by Zerkut. And now you're also going to say goodbye to Todd. She's out of monitors as quickly as she could, dispatched from security, and you just see the corpse of the Doc hobble on before they meet their final resting place. Once again, a very successful entry from 8K, crossing their T's and dotting their I's at the moment.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, and it's definitely winning it here as we see a very aggressive Powerhaus try and burst through this round 2, but soon falters off as Maddie as well as Todd both fall. Only a minute left, though, as Lady Dragon Slayer finally finds the first kill. And it's going to be on a run out as Zerkut falls off. That's actually going to be a big pick as Capitao is gone. Now you can safely play half wall unless Marmalade has something to say about it. They don't have any other soft destruction to try and handle that either. They do have all of their ducks in a row, though, as they have every single area that you really need to hold on to in order to hold this site locked down. Marmalade's actually going to make an impact on the flooring, for the diffuser, I'm going to assume that's where she wants them to plant so that she can play it from underneath, but not if Lysa has something to say about it. She now rotates into CCTV and over through box here is Lysa with that SMG-11. Oh, she doesn't get caught out, but she also doesn't see it to the left-hand side of her screen. She knows it's open, peeks wrong, sees one on rappel, but doesn't get caught out.
I don't know if that was intentional.
I hit the wrong button.
Oh, that's probably what's going through their heads right now. Lysa somehow under the cover of darkness. Down goes Monster, but immediately traded off 2 from 8K. And where are you, Lady Dragon Slayer? Well, you're found. Marmalade knew exactly where you were.
I was trying to hit my cough button.
That is A-OK. 8K just knowing the advances so far and looking like the powerhouse of these two teams through 2 rounds.
Nice pun. I like that one. That was good. That was good. I will say as of right now, though, for Powerhouse, they need to slow things down just a little bit. They're getting too antsy on this roam. And I mean, if you really do want to go for a full roam here, then hold your pressure downstairs. It's going to be the 3rd time that they're going to be holding the exact same site, Parker. But we haven't seen too much of a role switch up here just yet. Still Maddie on Jaeger, still Todd on Doc. We're going to have a 6 pick from Frost to Valkyrie. But other than that, we're going to have the exact same lineup. Still have an Echo. No smoke this time around, though, as Lysa will be on Bandit, so she's not going to be playing that mute.
I'm not sure I'm sold on going back to the same site for a 3rd time in a row. This is usually where I would recommend going down below. We've said this in many times in Pro League and Challenger League and US Nationals and CCS and Go4s, etc. 3rd time is usually, I think statistically 3rd time is actually the charm, but at the end of the day, you know, I would be more comfortable with seeing a defense of workshop ventilation because you've tried this site and that 2nd round was closer, but still some mistakes that were made and still excellent play from 8K. Speaking of charm, I really like that everybody's running Little Lexi's charm. I think that's a huge shout out and obviously a competitor here in CCSW as well. As long as if I still remember correctly.
All right. Well, as we delve deeper into this round, I think especially for this offense right now, they're doing a very good job of going down the checklist of border, and it's not very long. We know a lot of the maps where it's pretty simple, very straightforward. For this side, it's always just take CCTV, get armory lockers, or if you want to attack the other way, go offices, take control of that, shut down your rotates, then go for the archives wall that faces in behind the little monitor setup on that half wall. That's really all Border has to offer upstairs, but it's been an unspoken rule for a very long time, Parker, that once you fail at a site twice, you rotate off. We don't see a lot of people go back to the same site 3 times, as you were saying earlier. So Powerhouse, I'm assuming, thinking that they have something else in the cards for the offense of 8K that could possibly work out. 8K is going about this completely differently now, and it really seemed that for the setup of Powerhouse, as Todd tacks the head of Circuit downrange, this is what they wanted the entire time, was an office take, and 8K is finally giving it to them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if 8K should have changed things up either. I'm going to be critical of the fact that I think Powerhouse probably should have gone downstairs, but I also think that you probably should have maybe done the same thing before. Oh, Marmalade coming so close. Maddie, good night to Marmalade. What a shot that was. And Lysa with one of her own on the Vawasa Wepta. That name is just such a joy to say.
Oh, it's so good. So very good.
The brutality that we saw from 8K on those first 2 rounds, which was just an absolutely punishing entry, is getting stifled right now. And every single gun from Powerhouse seems to be hitting their shots. Nearly a flawless round with Nini Ren, the last up in a 1v5, and there's a tiny scratch on Lysa, and that's it.
Well, Powerhouse almost making it out of round 3 scot-free, as Nini Ren's just waiting for a possible run out from the break room door. But there's absolutely no one home. We got X-ray vision as everyone's just biding their time on site, waiting for this timer to go up. And actually, this isn't a bad play from Nini Ren either. Mainly due to the fact that, hey, you get a free time out here, you get to discuss things, go, okay, guys, let's calm things down just a little bit. We don't need to be too aggressive here. They recognize out where the last one is. Lady Dragon Slayer get taken out by Vawasa Raptor's Claymore. And unless there's absolutely something insane to happen here, Poor Nini around in these last dire moments, then nothing's really going to happen. Going to get Yokai a quick shot, and it's going to be Todd with an exclamation point. And finally, the first round and the 4th round ever for Powerhaus in CCS Women's. As this roster looks to be re-energized.
Fourth round ever, you say? That just sounds like you're just rubbing all the salt in the wound.
It's mainly for you. I love everybody on that team, and especially Maddie, man. Maddie, for a very long time, Parker, if you didn't know this, she played with a controller, which is something that is kind of frowned upon, especially when you're on PC. And she finally switched over, I believe it was 2 or 3 months ago now at this point, and she's definitely came around to M&K. That shot was truly insane from fountain all the way to radio window.
I thought Marmalade had that one in the bag. Marmalade or marmalade? What do you want? How do you want to say this? Marmalade? Marmalade?
Marmalade's
Got my
just
jams,
better.
my jellies, and my marmalades, dude.
Oh my god. Why do they ever let us cast
For the record,
together?
I can eat none of those things anymore. What is a list of things that I can no longer eat?
You guys want to hear Parker's pantry? Hello. Because it's empty. You get it?
I'm going to throw you over a bridge.
Throw me in a well. Okay, I'm done. They should have never let us have these ever.
Yeah, I don't know why we
Ever.
bought these. These
No.
are such... Kix just bought one as well.
Oh god.
So go, yeah, we'll tell you. We'll tell you.
Yeah, well, I'll link it to you later.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, but nevertheless, Parker, Powerhaus is finally warming up. Maddie seems to be the roster move that they needed to really light up this roster. What's your take on that one?
Why are you talking like that? I haven't seen enough, Sam, to really weigh on in. I mean, I was more impressed with Todd that round, if I'm being completely honest.
That was
Her
impressive.
ability, they made space around her, and then her ability to capitalize largely on her own, I think was the greater point here. And I mean, you've got her on ACOG, which is understandable. That's a fragging role now, so.
I really do like the homage to Lil Lexi throughout this. I feel like I haven't seen a single charm that hasn't been either a team-related charm or a cute charm throughout all of CCS. You don't see just the random off-kilter charms. You just don't see them really.
I've seen a couple ammunition charms as well.
Oh, okay.
I've seen Anne. I've seen Little Lexi. I think a lot of Little Lexi just because, like I said, she's playing in this. At least she was. I'm assuming she's still on a team. She's probably on one of the ones that we didn't.
Yeah, I think she's on I think she's on Victoria's Secret, if I remember properly.
Yeah, I think that's the
Which
one.
great name, by the way. That is a great play on words. Pastor approved.
Anywho.
Maddie Elizabeth in behind half wall now. Very long angle, and that's not something you want to play with a holographic sight unless you got a magnifying glass over your monitor. Zerkit now in some trouble, but it's going to be Lady Dragon Slayer that's in a massive parent amount of trouble now. Trying to gather my words, but Velociraptor to capitalize. It's going to be Maddie Elizabeth the falter upstairs. Never's already fallen off as well as Powerhaus back in, well, not a very good position. Lady Dragon Slayer still stuck inside of offices with only a pistol, and she's actually used all of her MP7 bullets. Funny enough, a nitro cell to sail up, but it's actually going to find one as it just floats in midair. Velociraptor not enough in the tank in order to lift through that one. They're going to have to win it off of heroics here, Parker, as Lysa and Todd are the only two remaining.
It's Alyssa. Like Alyssa, is at least what I was told. Samuel. But you've got about a minute to go, and the major advantage right now is in 8K's favor. Absolutely. Todd has been playing very well over the last round and a half, but how much damage can she do with the MPX in her hand? It's perfect timing for the very first toxic canister to go out. Of course, if it thread that needle. Might have another going out too, as there's no smokes on the board, so you know that she's popped a second. That's a little too early, 20 seconds left. That's about the time that you need. Just the gatekeeper on the main door now, waiting for somebody to go in, and it's a default plant for Monster Girl. Unfortunately, Todd missed that. Under her watchful eye, Monster Girl successful in the plant. Gunned down by Todriel, refragged immediately by Marmalade, and it's all up to Lissa. SMG-11 in hand, but I don't think she sees through the debris in the wall. And it's a third round for 8K. Once again, surgical precision, but it's not even the wall. It's from above. Excellent coverage, and with the F2 in your hand, you're gunning when you've got that angle.
You do indeed. So we already have quite a stretch of land taken over by the offense of 8K, but nothing that can't be battled back for, especially on border. This map's been played out a million different ways from Sunday, but it's definitely reached its, well, truly default play style. There's nothing that we've seen for a very, very long time on border that is new. We've seen long angles, short angles, play it close, play it far, play it off the chest, whatever have you. For Powerhouse right now, they've tried a handful of adjustments. They finally went upstairs off of a office take that AK was trying to performing. Mainly due, as you said, to Todd with those longer angles, but now they're downstairs and they're running into trouble once again. And it seems to be, especially for me, that they're not really giving any utility to the roamers upstairs, Parker. And that's something that you have to do, especially on this map, because with soft walls all around, it gets extremely easy to demise these ops. Demolish, excuse me. I can't talk today.
That's fine. It's noted. It's very noted. So, blow up your composition to a certain extent? No, you just make another change. And it's Lissa who is once again playing another role. She's played Smoke, she's played Mute, now she's played Alibi through 5 rounds, obviously showing that she's very flexible on her role, usually on that flex support. And you know, the way you're going to play an Alibi here on border is going to be entirely different. We actually don't see an awful lot of Alibi on a, I would say, defensive hold of the workshop ventilation. So I'm gonna keep a very watchful eye on where Lissa puts these clones because, yeah, I mean, unless you stack them all up and go for the Hall of Mirrors strat, which actually looks like what she's doing. Maybe not actually. Hall of Mirrors strat, by the way, for those people that don't know, is when you put like all 3 of your Alibi clones and then you're the 4th and then they have to guess.
Yeah, we've actually seen Walt recently, especially since the Macy J clip of the outplay with Alibi coming out, that people have been keeping one on themselves in order to throw one outside just to get the enemy position detected outside to pop up on their screen. And then you can rush out from wherever you want because obviously they think that the Prisma is someone else. I've been seeing that quite often inside of competitive games, everything, where people are keeping just one bit of utility on them in order just to have that outplay potential. But nevertheless, the MX4 Storm and Impact still on Alibi are crucial. She's an amazing operator that is still a very, very niche pick, but she brings a lot of things to the table.
It's the roam clear that's been so good, and the entry actually of 8K has been particularly formidable. It's been, I would say that, I actually don't know, 8K's entry or their post plant that has been better, because their post plant coverage has been exceptional. So far, they've had perfect coverage, and they've caught Powerhouse almost every single step of the way in the final 20, 30 seconds of a round. They're going to have to excel a little bit more at the actual entry for the time being, as utility from Nini Ren is thrown hopelessly away towards the gaping wall that has been opened, or towards the gaping hole, rather, it's been opened in the wall of Armory. They can try to enter at any point. This Powerhouse have quite a number of players above. They are very much invested in this second floor hold. And 8K are now circling on in, and they don't know that Maddie Elizabeth is there as she takes down Velociraptor. But Marmalade eliminating Lady Dragonslayer, so both teams will lose one, but losing the IQ versus the Bandit, it's a pretty even trade. Nitro Cell could have been in the hands of the Bandit. That could be a particular loss here. Hot on the heels of Never is Marmalade, but they won't find each other, at least for the time being. Keep in mind, this UMP is not the gun that you want to have in a straight-up gunfight.
No, especially with Circuit rounding the corner, a quick removal of the head of Never, and now they have all that vertical pressure that they could possibly need. But in dire straits now as the clock strikes 30, and all you have to do is really play off-site away from these vertical angles in order to win this out. But Maddie's quickly going to get dispatched as Marmalade's on rotation outside. Catches her off guard inside of stock. A quick shot through the hatch, though, that does work both ways as Lysa makes sure that Circuit knows it. Monster Gold getting the diffuser down now, though. As Lysa might try and rush in through. She has one vertical angle to worry about. Is she going to check it? Nini Ren, though, with that F2, you do not want to peek into that. She claims one life, needs to rotate up these metal stairs in order to do her due diligence. But we also have an upside down rappel, and that makes it all the harder.
Oh no. Go off.
Yes, sir. As a quick shot from the MX4 Storm, but it's not going to be anything as the F2 wins out the gunfight. And what else would you expect from that beautiful, master-crafted piece of weaponry? But what a hold in post plant. As you were just talking about their post plant setups, Parker, that is something that you're not supposed to win at all, especially with that thermite and upside down repel.
Yeah, no, they played that so well, you know. Um, I was very impressed. I was very impressed with the way that they've done this. You know, every single round, it seems like 8K have been perfectly placed after the diffuser has gone down, and that is hard to pull off. The amount of diffuses they're getting down also speaks to the fact that despite running a Valkyrie, Powerhouse is usually not aware, or if they are aware, they're not able to do anything with it. You saw that when in the previous round, 2 rounds ago, when the thermite was planting in the doorway, as Monster Girl is literally getting the diffuser down, Tadriel had rotated on over towards customs as the marks were coming in, showing that the thermite was planting in the doorway. But Todd was just a little bit too slow to be able to get there. And she did end up catching the thermite, but after he'd gotten the diffuser down, and then she got gunned as well. So there's problems that Powerhouse need to address with how they get this information and how they relay it to each other. I don't know what their comms are like. Their comms could be a mess. Bringing in a newer player to the roster, similar to what we saw from Sinister Red and Outdeuced, similar to what we saw in the Slaughterhouse Axios game as well. Almost all of these teams have brought somebody new in today, and that's going to shake things up on their own. So the challenges that come from being a newer team, coupled with the challenges that come from adding somebody to your roster, shows that those growing pains aren't really easy to just, you know, get over so fast. So for Powerhouse, they're going to need to endeavor to just be better with their communication. 8K right now, they're banging on all cylinders, and they look quite formidable at the moment.
Yeah, just to delve on that a little bit further, I mean, it even comes all the way down to comms, Parker, with calls and everything else. I mean, you guys heard us talking about comms earlier with me calling it horseshoe, him calling it monitors, and me calling Lady Dragonslayer shooting Velociraptor in the side of the head. I mean, you know, IQ down, so they're not going to have to worry about her any longer. Those alibis more than likely going to stay up, especially the Valkyrie cams. That's the thing you need to worry about, as well as in tandem with those yokais. It's a lot of information gain. Lady Dragonslayer now downstairs near Metal Hallway, but she looks like she's favoring customs more than anything. A quick impact from underneath will deal a little bit of damage to Lysa, but nothing to call home about just yet. Lady Dragonslayer now rotating into customs. A quick shot, though, and a trade out immediately from Todd. And what a nice shot it will be as we finally equalize between these two teams.
Still, minute 40 left. You got utility still. Zercut is going to miss what could have been a pretty easy kill, and honestly could have just claimed this entire round. 5-1 on border. Yeah, we said this with the Queen Yolo mid and Disrupt game. A 5-1 side is rare these days in Pro League. Number one. Number two, it's just on border. A 5-1, unheard of. Zercut takes down Todd. I don't know if the doc was peeking or not. I mean, a lot of people get an ACOG in their hands and they think, I'm a peak. Not always the best course of action here. Asphyxiating Bolt onto Bunker, and you've still got the Valk cams in play. You've got a Yokai as well, but there's so much time left on the clock that you're not going to be saved by a Yokai. Monster Girl gets knocked out of the defuse. Maddie Elizabeth finds Nini Ren. All right, it's a 2v2, but Monster Girl gets the diffuser down quite successfully. How is the post plant now? Maddie catches her looking the wrong way. It's all hers, but there's Zercut. Can she get the kill? Yes, she can. Oh my, once again, the post plant, but that one by the skin of their teeth. And 8K take the first half, 5-1.
It's just, again, those little mistakes that are so punishing inside of Rainbow Six Siege. And for that one especially, I mean, Maddie's got to have her head in her hands right there, or just did not peek out towards balcony, didn't really think about anyone possibly holding that angle. Instead, immediately just tunnel visions on the diffuser. It just went down, Parker, too. That's a fresh timer. You have 45 seconds in order for that planter to continue to tick away. You only need 7 to diffuse. All she had to do was look left before she looked right, check both ways before crossing the street, as they always say. This time, though, going to get hit by a full-on truck.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
It was a bit of a rare miss for 8K. Maddie playing it well, but I mean, you're just literally going through monitors at that point. If you think the plant's going down and you can take control of monitors, well, that's perfect. You have a really advantageous spot after the plant happens. And 8K won it because Zercut is everywhere all at the same time. Now, you can't do the same things on defense, so you swap sides. And this, if the issue with Powerhaus right now, Powerhaus Mischief, if the issue with them is communication, if they're not the strongest with their calls, if they don't have the best coordination and can't work together, then attack is going to be even more challenging. Because 8K's coordination on attack was pretty darn good for what we saw. Like we said, their post plant, strong. And I expect that we're going to see the same level of coordination, but maybe even a bit more aggressiveness from 8K because they got to be feeling good, right? They're up 5-1. You're very close to being able to put this one away. You saw some typing in the chat, obviously happy with it. If you can feast upon an early pick or two, that can break the spirits of Powerhaus, and then you put yourself on match point.
Nothing like breaking the spirits of Powerhaus, you know. But yeah, I completely have to agree with you, Parker. I think that's one thing that's not talked about enough inside of esports is the headspace of competitive players.
Yeah.
You really do have to be in a proper headspace, proud of what you've achieved, proud of how you're playing, everything under the sun. You have to be positive about. One negative thing can negatively affect your play, and all it takes is one tilting factor. That's why, I mean, we see a team in NA use a lot, TSM. We'll try and get inside of people's heads. Good night, nice try, saying everything under the sun in all chat, because if they get one poke that goes under your skin, that's all they want. That's it. It only takes one, and then all of a sudden you're off kilter.
Yep, absolutely.
But speaking of other things, real quick, before we get too far into this matchup, or excuse me, this round, as we do see some bullet trails go through radio window, we did have an off-stream game, ladies and gentlemen, between Artemis and Victoria's Secret, where Artemis came out on top, 8-7, and that will be on the VOD of, that will be on demand on VOD. My God. On the CCS Esport YouTube channel, so make sure to check that out. Now, we have already had one frag go down. It's Lady Dragon Slayer, but there is still plenty of people on the side of Powerhaus to be able to try and win out this round. They're at a stalling point now, though, as Maddie Elizabeth will follow suit, and that's going to be Nini Red on quite a far angle over inside of Metal Half-Wall. Circuit will fall as well, and all of a sudden we have been equalized, so it looks to still be an office take. Velociraptor lying inside of office hasn't been droned out just yet either, and again, this comes from that younger style of play inside of competitive, where you don't see too much info gain off cuff.
Patiently biding their time, but Velociraptor must have been droned, and it's never, ever have I seen that before. Well, now you have. Right through the wall. It's an unfortunate timed wall bang. This is tough for 8K, and it's Powerhaus right now just bullying 8K. Might take a couple attempts to get armory lockers under their belt. Oh, a beautiful shot from Monster Girl, removing the head of Todd. But Lissa is there, and Powerhaus is able to put their second round on the board. Maybe regain some momentum, shift the tides perhaps, or is it just stalling out the inevitable? We'll see. But it's an unsuccessful defense on Armory for 8K on their very first crack at defense, and we will continue onward for the remainder of this time, the remainder of this matchup with 8K on defense.
It's been a very, very weird day for a lot of things for CCS women's. We've had a long-standing thing of having defense sided no matter what map we're on. Coastline even was all defensive sided, it seemed to be. Then we get over to border, and suddenly things are flipped, Parker. Suddenly the offense starts winning all of the rounds, and it seems like it's still tilting into that manner. Powerhaus pretty even across the board. Obviously, we still have our outstanding players. We still have one member with 7 frags on the top of the leaderboard. But other than that, everyone's still getting their frags. We have a few still with 2, but overall equalized nevertheless. For the opposite side, though, in the likes of 8K, they've shown up quite a bit on the offense. Their defense is looking lackluster, but they're here to run it back once again on armory lockers. Not too much of a change up either. Just feel like that round did not go into their favor, and sometimes Rainbow just does indeed play out that way. Sometimes it's just, hey, this was a very unlucky 50-50, and now we lose this round because of it.
We're not changing anything, though. So you're going to go back to Armory, and you're going to bring the exact same composition. All right, well, what can you do differently this time around? Maybe not get picked early on. What we saw to, what was it, Velociraptor through the wall was really unfortunate. Dying to the, what was it, Lady Dragon Slayer, or never killed her through the wall. That was really tough. And I don't imagine that we're going to see that replicated this time. So you can play a little bit safer. Having somebody maybe in Fountain, I am kind of surprised that we don't see somebody playing inside a Fountain here. If the bans are right, Mira is unbanned. Is that correct? And if that's the case, I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen a Mira ran here as well. But once again, it could just be that if you play ranked, if you play competitively, you're so used to Mira being banned that you don't practice with her. And because of that, you're not going to bring her.
Oh, frag grenade goes off in the distance, and it's going to be Circuit's demise as that sound does go off. So no more bandit, which means that those bandit batteries are just going to sit still for the remainder of this round. One frag grenade off from Maddie Elizabeth, as we did see that death once again. So taking control of office now, as they have not allocated themselves towards an armory lockers take, or excuse me, towards a CCTV room take just yet. I'm going to do double duty with that one swing of the hammer. She gets rid of the door as well as the barbed wire on the ground, but they do still have to worry about Valkyrie inside of Fountain, who could always throw a nitro cell over just to deal a little bit more damage or apply some pressure, especially now this wall is being opened. Marmalade still lying over inside of Archives, and we're going to see that very creative cam that we saw earlier inside of Pro League. I believe this week or last Friday, I can't remember exactly when, but we are going to see it nevertheless by Velociraptor. Go downstairs, shoot it up through customs. You're allowed to throw it through floor, find the little vent section of the monitors area. Pre-fire now coming out for Marmalade, as she does take up Maddie Elizabeth quite a bit as she hits the deck, as it seems to be a tale of two beasts here. Thermite charge going off as Velociraptor rotates right into it, immediately gets shot through. A pre-fire by Lysa, but no, it's going to be through the sidewall instead, over through Fountain.
Oh, I wanted to see that shot from Todd. It sounded like it might have been a 1 or 2 tap tops. Everything falling apart now for 8K as they once again are staring right now at the knife at their throat.
Oh!
Goodbye. Oh no, a team kill from Todd. That's ill-advised. Niren looking the wrong way. I don't know if Niren was wary of what was coming through the armory doors or not, but Powerhaus now stringing 2 together. And this could maybe just simply be a defender or attacker sided map. I'm not entirely sure.
Border is very weird. It's been weird for a while now, though, if you really think about it, where it's just really what teams play on it. It's not, oh, hey, they're pretty equally skilled. It's going to be X side. For this map especially, it's just a teeter-totter between two teams. Clubhouse, you're 90% of the time defensive-sided. You have that weird 10% when, you know, Empire or G2 plays, and you're like, okay, they literally just win all their offensive rounds. It's just very, very weird. So Border, especially now, seems to be like it is offensive-sided between these two teams. And for the defense, I think it's really because they're just trying to turtle, Parker. On Border especially, it's easy to bully a team that's just turtling on site because there's not very much area to move to. There's a lot of ways to be able to cut off rotations between the two sites and shut them down. The only escape you really have is pop open a hatch, but 9 times out of 10, there's someone down there just lying with open arms waiting for you to do so.
Oh. Finally, we see a mirror come out. Is this our first mirror of the day?
Yes, yes, it is.
I think it's our first mirror of the day. Sam, do you think this one's going to go the distance as well? Do you think we're going to have a third OT?
Well, I mean, if you're going to gain the curse that is, you know, Flynn, then yes. It has to go that way. I mean, he's already a curse on my existence, but I mean, if you're going to gain the full-on, like, casting curse of his, then yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It would be quite possibly the case. Who knows?
Shrug is so bad.
Oh, dude, Flynn's team is just garbage, dude. Mostly because Flynn is on it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Hear that, Rob? You hear that? Anyway.
Feels good, man.
Yeah. So you have a successful victory, so you go up to, or rather, you don't have a successful victory, so you're going to stay up here. I was going to say you go up to Armory Locker, or not Armory Archives, and I was just like, oh, wait a minute, they haven't actually won yet.
Oh, just wait. Yes, haven't won.
Not yet on defense. Took Powerhouse 2 cracks at it. Once again, I'm going to be critical of 8K and say, well, you probably should have gone downstairs. I didn't really see much that inspired confidence through the 2 defenses of 8K so far. And you're bringing a more frustrating group of operators here. You know, you got the Lion now instead of the Twitch. Everything else stays the same. Todd and Lion, I'm assuming, is to try and pin down what you're going to find of what might be a more aggressive play from from 8K, but for the time being, they're not going to bite at all. They're actually just very steadfast right now in their defense. Waiting to see if Marmalade is going to challenge this or not. Is Maddie Elizabeth expecting a possible play for Marmalade? But no.
Marmalade's been doing so well so far for 8K.
She's been excellent.
Yeah, she has. And I mean, you also got to be a little bit jealous. I mean, every single person we've flipped through between these two teams seems to have black ice on everyone's favorite weapons. And I'm just jealous. I'm just going to throw that one out there. I'm extremely jealous of the amount of bling that is on these weapons because I want it. No more bandit batteries, though, in the likes of Circuit's hands. So going to have to try and go more fist over anything here. They say the pen's mightier than the sword, but definitely not in this context. Monster is in behind the half wall still. We do still have the yokais up as well as finally the thermite charge will go off, but Circuit ready for it. It's going to be a tight angle here. Sees the head, but can't find her mark. Has the nitro cell, though, but it's going to be a tight angle. You can't win out against ACOGs in that context. A shot through. The kill feed going to light up, but it's not going to be for Lady. It's going to be for Marmalade instead. She will take down Lisa. EE1D now coming through. Frag grenades now pouring in. Will it be ADS? No ADS.
Yes, it did get ADS.
Yes,
it did get ADS.
It will get eaten up. It will get eaten up. I promise. Barbed wire now getting beaten as the free fire comes up from Marmalade. She's stuck deep, and it's going to be Maddie Elizabeth getting aggressive onto the Archives door to knock her down. Only one lane in the waits here as Velociraptor peeks out, takes down the Lion, has to wait in behind now, though, as Maddie already with a quick move, reading her out. Uses that Journey's End sledgehammer to knock open the door of Archives. Rotating in once again. It's going to be an SMG-11, but it's going to be a frag grenade that kills her off. No, she's going to go with the weapon instead. That's a triple kill. Does she see her? She does! Oh, my goodness! Powerhouse, Maddie Elizabeth. What a round for the new star.
Is that 4 kills on the round for Maddie? She made that one her own. And off of the backs of one gal, you tighten that game up a lot. It's not a tie game yet. 8K still has the lead. But what was a stranglehold? That grip is slowly loosening. Unfortunately for 8K, they seem to have run out of momentum and maybe some motivation here. I think it's the right call for them to go downstairs to ventilation and workshop. I think they probably should have done that around before, but I don't know if it can change much. They seem to be in good spirits. I don't know what 8K's mental status is going to be like, but I would have to expect probably shaken. You can't really let that kind of thing happen to you. And Maddie, a singular hero effort like that can break a spirit real quick.
I just want to unpack some things real quick, especially just about younger comp and everything else. Maddie really hasn't played comp before. A lot of these players have not played comp before. And there is a term that's used a lot in Siege, and I'm going to assume in a lot of games, which is scrim energy. If you guys don't know what scrim energy is, that's when you play scrims unlike you play on game day, where you'll be more aggressive, do something completely outlandish that throws the other team off, and a lot of teams will just say, that's scrim energy, do it on game day, let's see it. But when you're a younger player, you feel a lot more cautious about your playing because it actually means something when you die. It actually means something when you win. So you find yourself being more cautious. It seemed like Maddie really fell into that department, Parker, where she really didn't want to take that first step into sight, didn't want to try and get aggressive onto anything on defense or offense. Finally, inside of this round, she finds her ground and she stands on it firm, ends up cleaning up almost every single kill on the defensive side. Truly incredible play by her, but I will mark out a couple of things here that the drone work has been a lot better by Powerhouse on this offensive side. It seems that they're finally warming up. It might be that the comms are finally coming through cleanly, or it might just get knocked down to that crunch time where you go, okay, we're in the dire moments of losing this. We need to step up.
Or they're going to try to do differently. Marmalade lays in wait. Here's the Claymore go down, but it's in a position where you can easily shoot it. We'll see the silhouette of another member of Powerhouse rotating around. Powerhouse changing up once again with Todd going on to Nomad this time instead of a Lion. It's a complete change across the board for 8K. You got soft destruction to knock these castle barricades down with both the Sledge as well as the Zofia. Breaches on Lissa, but that's okay. You don't necessarily need them. Maddie Elizabeth is going to be one of your main entries, and she's going to be the primary, I guess, castle destroyer here.
She's going to be the boon to Castle's, mainstay armor panels, but that's going to be a quick explosion. All of a sudden, Velociraptor's in hot water. The floor has also been destructed just a little bit, but she can't rotate out as Maddie has her only exit. A drone going to mark the sign of demise, but no push just yet. Does still have 2 impacts. Could possibly try and make a play here with some easy damage onto the IQ, but they're just holding her rotates. Somebody's got to get aggressive. It's going to be the IQ, and she'll win it out. Lysa, Lady to tag on as well. Circuit and Velociraptor fall in tandem. Monster Girl finally trying to bring things back, though, as they do have all the vertical pressure now. And that's actually going to be from underneath on some very well-made holes through the floor.
Bomb located by attackers.
This is still winnable for 8K here, and it's probably the best effort that they've put in on a round, and a lot of it coming from the wrench that it threw in the plans of Powerhaus, given the fact that it's a site that, well, Power hasn't attacked before just yet. There goes the cover above Ninny, and Ninny has to move on out, losing the hatch. You hear the LED5 go down, and this is a very ballsy rotate from the Echo. This is a spot that you can possibly see, especially with the soft destruction that's been done from the sledge here, but Niniren is itching for a fight. It's Yokai's to support her if need be. Waiting very patiently. Todd catches the smoke of Monster Girl. Oh my, that's a jump scare if I've ever seen one. Marmalade's position is given away through the wall, trying to capitalize onto Todd with 1 HP. AK-74 doing the best it can, but not an awful lot. It's essentially a 3v2, and this is going to be really tough for the sledge. Niniren is about to win it out here on time. Maddie can't be the hero this time around, and it's all on the shoulders of a Yokai drone. Silently, the Silent Guardian above, knocking Maddie out of the plant, and 8K, finally, as it had eluded them for so long, will sit on match point.
Powerhaus within 2, though, to push this to overtime after, I would say, a pretty successful take upstairs. They're getting a lot better at pincering off a lot of these roamers, Parker, especially inside of that archives area where we saw Maddie immediately rotate over to AC, make it where she couldn't exit, possibly through armory lockers, and then they put the aggression through offices to lock down the castle. Quick gunfight from Lisa, ends up winning it out, but she falters off almost immediately after that, and they needed that IQ to get the rest of the job done. That Yokai lying in wait for anyone to try and plant ends up winning the round for them. And that's just good utility use at the end of the day. They weren't trying to get aggressive anywhere else. They tried to prioritize objective. But sometimes, even though you think you're right, you're wrong. And the objective play was not the way to go that time around. They needed to try and find that Echo, put a bullet in Niniren, then try and get that diffuser down, or have someone rotate off to try and find her deeper inside of the site.
Really work out that way, and it honestly really goes to show you how valuable it is to have a good IQ that is available till the very end. Obviously, not having Lissa on board, she had died earlier in the round. Yeah, that can get pretty tough. And on top of that, it's also a reason why Echo gets banned so much, because he is very frustrating to deal with, where you don't see the Yokai drones in the cheeky position.
The cheeky positions. Default hold, though, by the defense of 8K. We do have Marmalade downstairs. Drone rolls on by, but she's not going to get spotted out. Marmalade all of a sudden in a power position. It's just what she needs to do with it that is the question. So it's a very weird thing about roaming. There's no, written book as to how to do that either. It's more, hey, I need to kind of stay hidden, kind of be annoying to the offense, let them know I'm here, but not let them know I'm too much here. It's just a very, very weird thing to get correct. We have plenty of people inside of the Siege community that can do it, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. Marmalade's still going to hold down things inside of customs. Not too much pressure coming for her just yet, and I don't think that they're going to double drone this, so she's definitely in a safe position. Maddie Elizabeth going to be on roam clear downstairs by herself. As the first minute ticks off, they don't have too much map pressure just yet. They do know that, to their knowledge, the downstairs is clear, which could earn Marmalade a pick, as we do see one rotate come in from Master. She's going to get it. It's going to be Lisa. And as we said earlier, that pick on the IQ was such a big deal. They couldn't deal with Niniren, and they're going to fall into the same grave once again.
And that first pick is massive, absolutely massive, but you have to do something that you haven't done if you're 8K, and that's win a site that you have continuously lost. This will be the first time in order to secure this victory, and they've locked out the downstairs ventilation workshop. So this is essentially your doing. This is the hill that you have to die on here, and the final obstacle to overcome. I mean, the best drone work on Marmalade, though, is She's now moved over towards Tellers by bathroom. I don't know if anybody is aware of her position. It certainly didn't look like she's been caught yet. Voasawapto will need to be flushed out of archives. A Thatcher has not been brought from Powerhaus on most occasions. Even though you have the Twitch in the hands of Todd, it can be tough to be able to shake that mirror off. This frag grenade might work. Oh, Zercut doesn't get to pull the trigger on the C4. Blown to pieces by Maddie Elizabeth, who broke double digits a couple rounds back and has shown to be quite the addition to the team thus far. Certainly keeping it close with 8K. Armory wall is opened up and just over 30 seconds is left. That could possibly give 8K the victory. Or do we continue onward? That's the real question. Marmalade, the other question mark that's on the board. She hasn't been spotted. She's now on East Stairs. She can continue to aggress on up. Down goes Monster Girl. Lady Dragon Slayer is just in, but she gets gunned down. Nini Ren will swing on out, waiting for somebody to possibly follow on up. It's never there to take out Nini Ren. The Vector will chew some of Maddie Elizabeth's HP away, waiting to re-engage. They might even have the opportunity to go for a plant here. There's no yokai drone, but it's Marmalade undetected for so long, too. She's got 3 kills on the round. Pistol out, can't do more. But it's the time for 8K. The clock will be their savior. And 8K Gaming will pick up a big victory after what appeared to be a comeback brewing for Powerhaus. It wouldn't be Maddie's impact great, but 8K ultimately the better team today.
And if you are Powerhaus, you can't be mad about your performance, Parker. I mean, you make one roster move and you pick up double the rounds you've had throughout the entire season. You can't be mad at that. Maddie Elizabeth